DeSanto Propane is 4 generations strong as a trustworthy family-owned business with unmatched customer service. Go online at DeSantoPropane.com for more info or call toll-free at 1-800-752-4574. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane.
Everybody, welcome into Fresh Takes with Russo and Felice. Paul Russo here. Nick Felice here. Well, winter sports are winding down. College basketball has a new champion. And I know for us, it's going to be tough to discuss. The Big Ten, for the first time since 2000, has a champion. The Wolverines of Michigan. It's their first men's national basketball title since 1989, depending upon who you ask, because the NCAA may or may not allow it. But, yeah, we got March Madness stuff to kind of wrap up and tidy up. We got the transfer portal opened up, so we can kind of take a look about what's going on in there. And then Masters weekend. Hello, friends. And, yeah, I mean, who knows what else might kind of pop up. Nick, good to see you. I know you're depressed because your favorite time of year for chaos is over, but
yeah.
Part of it, I suppose.
Yeah, and we should really get a salary cap in baseball, man.
Christ.
My Pirates just keep spending money. Like, come on, control these guys. Bob Nutty, man, he's loose with his change.
Yeah, God forbid we lock up Connor Griffin if you're a Pirates fan.
Yeah, nah. I'm obviously kidding. Very big.
I don't know. You didn't seem like it this morning.
Well, even though it happened a couple days ago, or a few days ago now.
I have the texts.
I just found out Notre Dame basketball lost their 3 best players.
Oh, I thought there was another one. We'll get to that though in a little bit, Nick. Don't worry.
That really put me in a bad mood yesterday.
Well, that'll happen. But we'll touch more on that. First, thank a couple more of our sponsors today before we get any further, including Cafe 19, breakfast, lunch, pastries, celebratory cakes, pies, and catering guaranteed fresh, and always local at Cafe 19 here in Seneca Falls. Offering an assortment of beverages, including tea, coffee, and espresso drinks. You can check out their full menus and weekly specials at xixcafe.com. And the Cayuga Lake Wine Trail, from your first sip to the last look at the lake, the Cayuga Lake Wine Trail will impress and inspire you. It's America's first wine trail. You truly choose your own path when you visit the winery, soak in the scenery, and make memorable moments with friends. You can plan your trip at CayugaWineTrail.com. All right, it's our first Big Ten, the number 1G champion since 2000, Nick.
Amazing.
Why dirty? So dirty. Nick, the way you eat disgust. I eat beautiful. Sorry. Anyway.
Question.
Yeah, Michigan, your 2026 men's basketball national champions. They beat UConn. Yeah, I don't know what we're going to talk about now that the Big Ten finally won another national title.
Well,
first time in 26 years, Nick.
I know. I can't ever say that the Big Ten's just going to choke in the tournament like they always do.
And it's been, by the way, not to interrupt, it's just been like the season of Big Ten. They've won 6 national major championships.
And they got shot in hockey this weekend too, right?
Well, yeah, they do, but they also, so that's what I was going to go back to. They won the women's Frozen Four, right? They won the women's college basketball title, obviously, with UCLA. Washington won the men's soccer title. Northwestern won the field hockey title. I believe was it Northwestern that won the golf title too? Like, I mean, it's just apparently the scholastic year of the Big Ten. Running the NCAA gauntlet.
Are they good in lacrosse?
That'd be your area.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
They got Hopkins.
In lacrosse?
Yeah.
I don't know who's good in lacrosse as of today. I know Syracuse was good, but then they lost. But anyway, enough lacrosse.
Wow.
Basketball, very impressive. I never thought I'd ever see the day. Wasn't really a big basketball fan in the year 2000 when Michigan State won. I was pretty young. I was more into Pokemon.
More or less 5 years old at the time.
Yeah, so it's a little shocking to see the Big Ten win, but, you know, there's a lot of money there in the Big Ten. You can clearly, it's out there, and the SEC really had a bad tournament because you look at them as like their big competitor, and the Big Ten has kind of owned them, which is kind of crazy to say, because the Big Ten didn't really win football much until this last recent run. They had the one Ohio State back in the day, but I should have known Michigan was going to win it all. Paul, we went out to Del Lago on Black Friday, I believe, or Black Friday, Thanksgiving Eve. We went out to Del Lago that night. And I think it was Gonzaga. They destroyed Gonzaga. They were like destroying a lot of good teams early.
Yeah, I think Matt Painter. I forget the exact day of it, but it was like in the second half of the year, right when it was league play, conference play. Matt Painter, the head coach of Purdue, for if people don't know, and they got done playing them, and Purdue was pretty much a consistent top 10 team all year. Lost to Michigan. He goes like, yeah, that's a team that's not going to lose more than 4 games all year. And
they were blowing teams out.
He was right.
They were like blowing teams out this year. So it's not surprising to see them win it this year. This is not your ordinary Michigan team. This isn't not your ordinary Big Ten team. This is it's a tough era to compare it to other eras, but this is one of the greatest teams of all time.
No, I agree with that for sure. I think the tough
they
part.
Had 5 transferred, right?
Well, yeah, but like here. Yeah, but like also like a couple of those guys who transferred and have also been there a couple of years now at this point, right? The only, I think they said on the broadcast was like the only true like inbound freshman from this past year was Yuxel, but like in the starting 5, but like I don't know. I pushed back a little bit on you saying, you know, this year the Big Ten, like I know what you mean. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, like we talked about, like they haven't won a national title as a conference since 2000.
But they've had good teams.
And not that I don't disagree maybe on that end result front, but like I say this through maybe a different type of lens here at the moment, given the current landscape. But like, is it any different than the ACC recently in the grand scheme of it? Or maybe the better question would be, is it any different than the SEC really at the current climate, right?
Yeah.
Because they go up against UConn, who we've been over this before. I view as a blue blood program as it stands right now, as close to it can be in the traditional sense as it is right now, which we kind of tease a little bit. We'll discuss some of the early offseason stuff happening with college basketball before we get going to other topics. But like, you know, UConn goes into this game as a pretty clear underdog.
Yeah.
And it felt like I was in the minority, at least on Monday, and clearly I was. But, like, I'm sitting there going, like, it's not like I thought UConn's, like, easy shoo-in to win this game, right? But you sit there more or less and you go, like, are we sleeping on UConn a little bit? And no, we were not, right? Like, Michigan played.
I thought it'd be a lot higher scoring game.
Well, it was funny. I did text one group chat I'm in. I was like, it's like, it was more or less the rhetorical question of like, are we sure this is good basketball? And like, this clearly was not a good game in the sense of whatever, Reed for UConn missed. And I'm not saying I would make any of them, especially against Mara, but like, how do you go over 20 on this, like those bunny hooks at the rim, man? Like, I'm not saying you make 1 or 2, it makes a difference. Clearly it would not have. But like, I'm like sitting there going like, damn, dude,
it doesn't make any sense.
Missing gimmies.
It doesn't make any sense. Easter's 365 days away, you know?
Like 64 at that time, yeah. Hold on. No, yeah. No, it's not a leap.
Unless is there a leap year next year?
Nope. No.
Yeah, like stop making bunnies. Easter's a long way away. You got to make the bunnies, I should say. But yeah, it wasn't the most exciting national championship. Not like last year. Florida Houston was a great game.
I pushed back a little bit. It was exciting. I think towards the end, UConn was able to go on a run and make it a much closer game than it needed to be.
Yeah.
If you're Michigan, you know what I mean?
The end there, yeah. And UConn just looked like they just. And I did say it once at the end to my brother Matt, who I watched it with, and I said, if the Big Ten blows this game, they're never going to win this thing.
No. I mean, And that's the thing, I think, too, in the back of my head where I was just kind of like, I'm not one to fully buy into that Big Ten thing. I buy more into maybe certain areas of the Big Ten. A lot of it, it's very funny. Like, I think a very good comp to certain things, like, which is very funny because I'm a Syracuse fan, obviously, right, is like Izzo. But Izzo and Boeheim are essentially the same coach when you think about it, in the sense of, like, well, they only have done so much. But, like, I think a lot of it has to do with that, right? We as a lot of people who watch and enjoy college basketball, think of Big Ten right now, in our lifetimes anyway, you more or less think of Michigan State, right, as being kind of like that pinnacle. Not that other teams have had moments, right, like Wisconsin for a while when we were in college, right?
Purdue.
Had that. Purdue the past few years. Illinois now a couple different times in our lifetime. Ohio State for a couple of years. But, like, Michigan State's been that consistent team, right? And they've been within shouting distance more than enough times to get another national title, and they just haven't.
Yeah,
like,
can't get over
I think a lot of it kind of gets clouded by that. I mean, look, even for these power conferences, right? I mean, it's tough as hell to win these titles, man. Especially in today's climate and everything. And I don't mean to use it as a backboard right now, but, like, I think UConn any other year, in the sense of, like, again, maybe more traditional thinking, you don't expect them to get to the national title, but I think it does speak volumes still in college basketball that a team that has been together for a number of years and has those guys who know what they're doing can make a difference, right? And that proved to be the case. You know what I mean? It was one of those things where, like, look, like, not for what it's worth, it's not like Illinois was exactly in that game.
Yeah. And
I
know he's a nut job, but he's actually a really good coach.
For the X's and O's of it, Hurley is amazing, incredible. Outside of that space, doors wide open.
Want me to headbutt you?
What do you call it? Like a head kiss? It's really weird.
Head shake.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder because usually I always say Boston College is a job where coaches die. So it really makes me
find out.
Bill Murray's son there.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder if Boston College has actually got the right coach finally, because that's a great guy to work under for a while.
Not to do history, whatever here, but, like, BC for, like, and this goes way back. This is the issue. Was a decent enough program. Main issue is in the late 70s, and there's a great 30 for 30 about it. Players were part of a point shaving scandal. And then, like, frankly, since then, they've had moments, but they were never, I think UMass is, by technical definition, like, UMass had better success than Boston College in this time. So
Massachusetts not known for their basketball right now.
Well, in that
or football,
yeah, or anything.
But you've been to BC. How was that? I think
for football, yeah, it was cool. It was really cool.
Syracuse won that game too, right?
Yeah, late. That was the start of the year, 6-0, lost 5 straight, and that win got them to the Pinstripe Bowl.
Then I also hear cool. Then I also hear UMass is one of the worst places to go watch a football game.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Exciting times.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a wrap on that. UCLA, touch on the women's stuff.
But do you go back? Yeah. Do you think Murray there is gonna be good at Boston?
Yeah, I mean he's a guy that I wanted Syracuse to target. So it is what it is.
You wanted Bill at the game.
Better than Adam Weitzman.
He's back too.
Unfortunately.
Pete Davidson back.
Look, I know I'm in the minority of Syracuse fans here, clearly, on that front, among other things, but, like, I don't know.
How about
what it is?
You give a shout out, your first career shout out right now. I don't know if it's first career, but shout out your sweatshirt you're wearing right there.
Yeah, I was going to save it for a second here, but yeah, I mean, shout out my alma mater, Gannon University, men's basketball champions for Division II. It was great on Sunday watching it.
It was a good year.
Did you by chance watch any of it?
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately not.
Just wanted to double check before. But yeah, pace per roster, man. Walking bucket. incredible.
Great year for our schools in basketball. Cuca goes to the NCAA tournament for the first time, gives Trinity a game.
And Trinity made it pretty far in the tournament too. So.
And Gannon gets the job done.
Yeah, it's great.
Proud alum.
Merch will be bought probably within the next couple of days. I'm more or less waiting on one item to drop. But
Gannon.
Yep. We are Gannon for Gannon.
Gannon and Michigan will always forever be connected.
Yep. And Mary Washington.
They won D3.
D3. Yeah, what do you think of the women's Final Four? Because obviously there's a lot of talk, and believe me, if we were a different podcast, I'd be diving all in on one specific thing. But UCLA gets the job done, and they blow out South Carolina. On the women's side, actually, it's got to be technically on both for men's and women's. I think they're the first team ever to lose by 20 or more in back-to-back national championship games.
Really?
Which is kind of crazy. But, like, this is a UCLA team that, man, built from, not for, like ground up type thing, but, like, I mean, this specific group, their core kind of six, just incredible stuff from them. I think, I don't know, Bet's the first overall pick in the WNBA draft now?
The big girl for UCLA?
Yeah.
I think so.
I know who I'm not taking. Fudd. From UConn. I'm down on Fudd. But, yeah, I feel like obviously there's going to be a lot of discussion still surrounding Gino once again.
Your boy.
Yeah, I hate him. It's very funny to me, and I don't want to dive into the whole whatever here. I kind of went over it last week, even unintentionally. But, like, yeah, I'm not surprised by anything he did, unfortunately. Like, we grew up in the era of him where it was him versus Pat Summitt, and, you know, obviously did a lot there, and I think it's very interesting for this generation behind us, kind of seeing it play out the way that we're used to seeing it happen, and where he's not the lovable grandpa that sits on the bench. You know, it's a guy who, funnily enough, maybe, you know, you'll get the Dan Hurley stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's just something in Stores, Connecticut, where you have to have a couple screws loose. And
if I ever see those two talking in a room, please get me out of there.
What do you think they'd even be talking about?
That'd be an interesting conversation.
Because that's the interesting part there is this is an interesting thing before we move on to the off-season of college basketball here quickly. Who do you think is much more, like, personable at, like, a dinner table? Got to be Hurley, right?
Oh, the two of them?
In that sense, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean...
I feel like Gino, I would have to be on my best behavior.
Yeah.
And I feel like he would just judge me on something I said.
Right.
Hurley would be like, he'd roll you the eyes or something.
Yeah, but I feel like maybe the better way to phrase it, I feel like Hurley would, like, have a beer with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think I could say that about Gino.
I feel like Hurley is probably not. I don't know him personally. He's probably not as bad of a guy as he is on the floor.
Right. No, I agree with that. It's one of those things where it's like, because somebody brought it up, I'm like, yeah, you know, and weirdly, I feel like Hurley's probably the better person.
Because it seems like John Fanta.
Yeah.
Who's on?
Yeah, John Fanta and him appear to have a really good
relationship.
Yeah.
And he's one of the nicest guys in the world.
Right.
So I think
that's the thing too. I feel like outside of like what coach kind of isn't like. Let's start with here too. To get to that spot in coaching, you have to be some type of asshole. Like, that's just the way it is. But Hurley, for all his faults, most of it comes like on the court. Yeah, he's had moments within the media, but like there's a little bit of like what coach hasn't type stuff where like Gino is. I feel like an asshole 24/7. Like it's bad.
He's like Rick Carlisle. What a baby.
I don't know about that.
What a baby.
I don't know why Rick got dragged into this.
We've lost to that damn team 2 years in a row.
Not this year.
Not this year. Heat though, clinch their playing spot.
I hate it.
Which is actually good.
We're saving that for next week because
it's start of playoffs next week.
Yeah, but there's still like a couple regular season games left.
Oh, I can't wait to see how it ends because it's been such a good regular season. Do you hear about the Sacramento Warriors game last night?
Yeah, Sacramento like intentionally fouling Steph Curry and
To lose the
stuff.
game.
Yeah.
So even the players aren't trying.
It's very clear, and it's tough to fault. It's tough to fault the players, right? Because like there's a degree of like I have to go and get mine, while also like, because like this is the part I always like have to remind some people with it where teams are tanking. Like, yeah, like objectively in the sense of like whatever, those are bottom of like the third league guys for the most part, right? But like at the end of the day, like they're still out there fighting to get a contract somewhere next year, right? But the double-edged sword of that is like they also have to be kind of like, God, it's such a bad way to phrase it, but like they have to be like complicit in whatever their coach tells them to do, right? Because you also don't need that stigma of like, well, he's a hardhead, not going to listen to you, don't bring him on your team.
Yep.
You know what I
spot
mean?
for these young kids.
Yeah. So like, for me, I don't blame the players in this scenario. I never have in the grand scheme of it, but it's always stuff where I'm just like, what the hell are we doing? Like last night's a perfect example of that.
The tanking's a serious problem.
Yeah. So.
But great basketball season, college basketball.
Yeah, so let's touch on some off-season stuff here for college basketball. Before we get to the transfer portal, UNC has a new coach, Mike Malone. Championship.
That came out of left field.
NBA championship. I beg to differ with that statement.
Really? You saw it coming.
It was very funny when Hubert first gets fired after a weekend long of will they, won't they, which I'm not going to reopen that can of worms. One of the first names that I saw pop up was Mike Malone. Then all of a sudden it went away. I'm like, that's interesting. I'm like, he said it, he wants to coach. Doesn't really matter where. His daughter plays volleyball there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Like, kind of makes a lot of sense in a way. I just, like, I like Mike Malone. I think he's a good coach. I kind of still think the Nuggets fired him in a way that makes no sense, especially since, like, I think Adelman's not the right guy for the job there right now, but that's entirely different discussion for maybe next week with NBA stuff. The UNC stuff with everything that's going on there behind the scenes, I don't know how this is going to fully work. You see certain guys already in the portal for them. I think from an X's and O's perspective, I'm all for it. I don't know. It's going to be somewhere between, to me, and obviously this is like, well, duh, but like, I don't think it's going to be as bad as Belichick, obviously. But it might be closer to that than, say, looking down the road at Duke.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me they go professional coach after the Belichick thing.
Yeah.
So that's a very interesting hire. I didn't see it coming. I didn't hear about him being an option, and I didn't know his daughter went there. So it's interesting, but it doesn't surprise me. North Carolina goes with a more well-known name since they couldn't get the top coaches in college basketball.
I think that's the more interesting part in this, right, is the fact that pretty much everybody said no to them. Again, I think it goes back to it makes you wonder what's really happening behind the scenes there. The interesting part I find in all this, too, is like, in the current climate of basketball, in college basketball, couldn't you just still have technically waited on Billy Donovan and still built your team? Like, you know what I mean?
I know.
Not that I think I'd prefer Mike Malone to Billy Donovan as it stands right now. Not a knock on Donovan, obviously. He's a two-time national championship winner in college hoops, and
did he want to go?
And we've seen what he can do with NBA talent. Kind of seems like he did, but like I give Billy a lot of respect in this regard. Like, he wasn't going to do anything until the end of the NBA season next week. Like, out of respect for his players and everything like that.
Timing's just bad.
Kind of a proper way to go about it. So I don't know. We'll see how it fully plays out. Obviously, you mentioned transfer portal stuff, Nick. You kind of teed it off for your own guys there with Notre Dame a little bit, both on and off air. Syracuse is going through it as well right now with
I heard over 50%.
With the coaching hire, huh?
Over 50% of players are in the portal.
Is it?
Something like that.
That number is different than what I saw.
I mean, it's hard to tell, but so many teams, so many players, but
Yeah.
a lot are going in.
Yeah. We'll see how a lot of this stuff plays out. I've seen guys technically already withdraw from being in the portal. Nothing like maybe quite like the big names. Or like I saw like Tennessee's point guard withdrew from the portal. He's going back to Tennessee. Stuff like that, right? We'll see how it obviously plays out. I know for Syracuse, they got a couple guys coming followed over from Siena, obviously like Doty, and I don't know. It's
The
interesting.
Siena players.
Yeah, it's tough because like Doty, for example, is maybe a little bit different. He was a 4-star recruit. Syracuse was in on him in his high school recruiting anyway. I think I just have some like, Carlos PTSD from mid-majors with Syracuse guys recently that I just maybe kind of worry a little bit. I don't know. We'll see how it fully
You should
plays
worry.
out. But yeah,
I'm just kidding.
but I think that's a fair thing for. Look, I'm not saying we shouldn't be happy as a fan base, but like it's one of those things where it's like,
Oh, you're still part of the
doing
fan
this
base.
again. Yeah,
Still,
depending on who you ask. Yeah,
yeah, you'll always be a fan. It's just, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
And they're a football school now.
Lacrosse,
Lacrosse.
I don't know.
Men's soccer.
Women's crew,
Why not?
Notre Dame though, Nick.
Lose their 3 best players.
Yeah,
It sucks because we're not. Syracuse should be, but we're not a top tier program in the sport.
which makes no sense to me.
Yeah, with the big name around Notre Dame, but we're just
Well,
not.
it's the name. You're in Indiana, quote unquote basketball state. Like I don't know. Makes no sense.
Look at Indiana now. Clearly football
Yeah.
for basketball, which is crazy. But it just, it sucks. These guys, our best players, want to go to better schools. The Kentuckys, the UConns of the world. Can't believe I just compared
I don't know about
Kentucky.
Kentucky. I don't know about Kentucky.
Can't believe I just compared Kentucky to UConn. But, yeah, they just want to take that next step, move up the ladder. It's just like players move up the ladder. How do teams move up the ladder? That's what I want to know, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I want to know.
Yeah.
How does a team move up the ladder?
I think it's kind of the way UConn did it to a degree, right? You kind of have to. Maybe you don't tear all the way down, but you got to tear a pretty good ways down and then reset.
And then this isn't just players either; it's the coaches. What Will Wade did.
No, that's what I'm getting at, though,
Will
right?
Wade doing the NC State. No loyalty whatsoever.
Oh, well, and that's the funny part, too, here is, like, again, you have a lot of people complaining about the transfer portal. And I get it. Like, as much as I am pro allowing these guys to do what they want, there's got to be some sort of barriers, right? But, like, we saw it again in this coaching cycle with Will Wade being, again, the patron saint of this, as I call it, where it's like you want all these latches for players, right? And these coaches just free, like, it's rules for thee, not for me type stuff, right? And that's the part that drives me up a wall. And I was very happy. I know the way some people feel about Billis, and it's whatever. I find Billis to be one of the more, frankly, overall unbiased basketball minds at ESPN right now. Like, again, I see your reaction a little bit, like, for the people who aren't seeing.
I like Billis, just don't get him talk about Duke.
But to his credit, he went right back at John Calipari and Greenberg on set. I think it was Monday before the tournament or before the title game
About students.
about it, right? Where he's just like, because Calipari was talking about whatever, and Bill Sturley goes like, "Oh, but it was okay for you to go from Kentucky to Arkansas." And Calipari was more or less trying to spin. Like Billis goes, no, we do this every time. Coaches talk about blah blah blah, and they go and do this. Where, like, and Billis did have a good like. This is why for me Billis is like the perfect guy for this, right? Is because, and I don't think many people know this. Billis is a law guy. He was a lawyer before becoming an analyst for basketball and coaching in basketball.
I didn't know that.
After his pro career, yeah, he went to law school, was a practicing lawyer. Like, he knows what he's talking about and all this stuff, right? And so, like, that's the wild part to me is, like, you have a guy, and I respect Calipari. I think modern pioneer for the way college sports should be handled in the grand scheme of it. But you have guys like that who, like I said, they operate from a rules for thee, not for me mentality, who need to be checked on this type of stuff, and it's just one of those things where I get it. I've offered my thoughts on this plenty of times, but you can't have it one way for one select group and not the same or another way for another group in that same space. That's just the way it is and should be.
So he just brought up Will Wade, going back to LSU.
Yeah.
Who would you take as a duo? Bill Belichick or Mike Malone or Lane Kiffin and Will Wade?
Belichick and Malone.
Not even
It's
close.
not even. And you want to know why? I'm not going to have to worry necessarily about the NCAA knocking at my door for Malone and Belichick.
Isn't it Will Wade and Lane Kiffin probably the worst duo?
Did you see? And again, this goes back to what I just kind of ranted about a little bit. But did you see how much money LSU has spent in coaching this offseason? $200 million.
Just the two of them.
No,
It's all.
that's combined between having to do buyouts and then hiring them on and then hiring their staffs.
Their baseball coach probably makes a lot of money.
Yeah. But remember, there's never enough money to play the players. Remember that. Keep that third eye open.
Louisiana State University, that's what they are?
Mm-hmm. The Bayou Bengals. The Tigers.
At least Brian Kelly's gone.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of all that, Kelly is a shade of green, Nick. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Kelly green. Know what else is green this week? Augusta, Georgia. Hello, friends.
The Masters.
The Masters. Kind of the, it's the first true sign of spring. A lot of us.
I would say so.
As. Par 3 tournament happening still right now as we are recording and live. But
most peaceful sporting event you'll see all year.
Yeah, maybe.
The par 3 contest I'm talking about.
Oh, well, in that sense, yeah. Interesting tournament this year, right? Because we have obviously the stuff kind of surrounding Tiger. To that end, though, it's the first Masters tournament without Tiger or Phil Mickelson since before we were born, Nick. Either one of us, technically. April of '94.
Has it really been that long?
It's crazy. I don't know if it necessarily feels like it's a true change of the guard now type stuff without either of them there. I think, that kind of shifted probably 10 years ago, technically. That being said, definitely a different feel in the air, I would say, with the Masters this year for that. Part of that reason is that, but also it kind of feels a little wide open-ish in a way this year. I don't know. I'm intrigued to see how you feel about this. Scheffler, Scotty's not playing his best ball right now. The pressure's off Rory to finally get it done. Can he repeat? But also to that end, we haven't seen Rory consistently enough this year, right? Does Ludwig finally take that next step up, right, in his progression, especially at Augusta? And then there's a whole host of others, right? You have the live guys, Rahm, DeChambeau, technically not anymore, but Brooks, he's in the Masters, right? Tommy Fleetwood, does he finally get his first major, right? There's a lot of cool kind of storylines involving the Masters this year that for me give it that wide open feel.
Yeah, there's a lot of storylines. Clearly, Mike Weir's just going to run the tables and win the whole thing, obviously. But
why Mike Weir?
Canadian legend.
I guess so.
Lefty legend. Anyway, yeah, I think it's kind of wide open-ish. The thing about the Masters, because it's the one major where it's the same course every year, it always seems to be around the similar guys that are up there. Like Justin Rose, never won it, but is up there a lot. Obviously Scotty and, long ball hitters usually play pretty well here. So kind of a sleeper I like this year is Chris Gotterup.
So I was going to talk about this when we made our picks. I don't understand why he's not more of a favorite. And look, I get, since he won those opening two tournaments of the year, maybe it hasn't been as glamorous for him, but it makes no sense to me that he is somehow technically a dark horse in this.
It's his first one, I think. I think this is
yeah, that's true. So maybe there is that. Maybe there is that element of it, but still though, he's probably played the best golf out of anybody on the, maybe the second best golf of everybody on tour so far this year. But overall, it's crazy to me that he's not higher up on the odds list,
And then, of course, I always like my man J.J. Spawn. Just won last week. Who was the other guy you were thinking that's better? Goddard?
No, I was with you on Goddard, yeah.
You said he was the second best player on tour this year.
Well, I think you can make the case, even though whatever, but like Rose has played pretty well, all things considered. Fleetwood has played well when he's played, been pretty good.
Gary Woodland.
Yeah, Woodland's been an awesome story, but that's a little bit of the same thing too. What got her up to maybe that degree is like I don't know if that pressure for, especially with everything he's been through, I don't know where that gauges out properly.
And a lot of the favorites seem to win this one a lot because it's such a small field.
It's the only time from a betting perspective I enjoy betting Spieth, is because for whatever reason this just his place that he probably plays his most consistent ball.
Guy like Fred Couples.
Yeah.
Always seems to play well for one round.
Danny Willett.
That's got to be the most random. Him or Charles Schwartzel, so random.
It's the worst Masters of all time, the 2016 Masters. Danny Willett's freaking Masters win.
Worse than 2020. Dustin Johnson just destroying the course in the fall. I always look.
Stand by my statement.
When they do the champions photo, I always look at Dustin Johnson. It's like, why is he there?
Well,
and he is just falling.
Do we think any of those guys who like we kind of were hoping would take the next steps eventually here, whether it be Sahith, Akshay,
Oberg, like you mentioned.
Yeah, do any of them do we think do it this year? I'm not saying maybe necessarily win, but like
I don't know.
At least are in contention through the weekend.
I always said Tony Finau looks like a guy that would have a green jacket, and that never happened.
Yeah, we're now like 10 years in on that.
So it's like you got to do it eventually, right? I mean, Ricky Fowler might have lost his window to do it, and for guys like Oberg and Sagith Thagala, there they see their window right here to try to win a Masters, and not to say anything about the other three majors, but the Masters is the big one.
Yeah,
that's the one where you get remembered a lot. Mm-hmm. A lot of the time, U.S. Open champions like Lucas Glover's of the world winning. Forget that he won the U.S.
There's obviously a multitude of reasons, but like there is a reason why Rory wanted this one more than most.
Yeah,
there's a reason why I think all these golfers.
I think it was more than just the career Grand Slam.
Right. I think every golfer recognizes what this tournament means, right? And the place you play and everything, it just means more, right? Like, it's tough, but like I have to view it from like the individual sport, quote unquote, perspective, right? Like, there's a reason why, like, you win an IndyCar race, that's cool. Did you win an Indy? Did you win the Indianapolis 500? Right?
Yeah.
Did you win the Daytona 500 as a NASCAR driver? Because like that, those are things they can't take away from you.
Did you win at Wimbledon?
Exactly.
Did you win the World Series?
Well, right, but like what I'm talking though is like just like that event where it's.
Did you win the Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest?
Yeah. Joey Chestnut. But yeah, I mean it's.
I got you.
Yeah. So all right, who you got? Who you got in the spot?
I'm gonna say Justin Rose finally gets it done.
Damn it! I was kind of thinking him. I'm gonna go Fleetwood then. If you're going that way, I'm gonna go Fleetwood.
So Fleetwood is the defending tour champion, and that's a great pick.
Yeah.
Does he have enough?
Yeah.
Clearly, you think so.
Well, we know he doesn't have to worry about brand deals.
No. No, I like that pick.
Yeah.
He's a great guy too. I'd like to see him win.
Yeah. All right. I'll be in Bristol this weekend for the NASCAR races. I'm looking forward to that. I'll have the Masters on my phone.
Bristol,
Sunday.
Connecticut.
Yeah. Tennessee. So I'm not going to really preview too much. I'm looking forward to it, though. I get to see the what is now the O'Reilly Series, a night race for them on Saturday night at Bristol, which 8-year-old me would be so freaking excited, man. Night race at Bristol. Looking forward to it. So yeah, probably more on that, obviously, next week more than anything else, but look forward to that.
Tennessee, which is just on the border of Tennessee, because you went last year.
Nick, are you from Tennessee?
Everything bigger in Tennessee. No, it's Texas.
Because you're the only 10 I see.
Ooh, good one.
Is that Riz?
Who wrote that joke?
I don't know. Is that Riz as the kids call it?
Yeah.
But yeah, look forward to that. Maybe I'll bring a surprise you from like Buc-ee's or something like that.
Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
Is that where you got your Buc-ee's shirt last year?
Yes, the Beaver. Well, not the Bristol trip, but yeah.
Oh.
So I'll be going by the one in Virginia. So
Bristol. And what week is this? How many? They were off.
Wow.
They were off last week.
yeah, for Easter.
What you call? It's got 4 wins.
Daytona, Atlanta, Coda, Phoenix, Vegas. Martinsville, Darlington, week 8, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, because the crazy part is Watkins Glen is in a month, literally. So,
Insane.
yeah. Yeah.
As much as I, yeah.
You can say it. I think everybody's entitled to an opinion.
I really hope it's cold.
Not what you were wanting to say.
I really hope it's cold, just so NASCAR doesn't do that again.
They listen to the TV. People.
I really don't like that it's in May.
We'll find out together.
It should be in the summer. That's when
We'll find out together.
I really hope it's cold.
Yeah. Whatever.
As much as I don't want it to be.
Yeah, at least you can go hang out in the media center.
True. But put it in August. That's when Watkins is, not May.
Blame Fox. They wanted Watkins Glen in their TV deal.
All right.
So, all right. Who are you shouting out today?
Shout out Josh Langley.
Happy birthday.
He won the fantasy hockey championship. First one. He beat me in the championship.
I just realized, Nick. Actually, what's today? The 8th, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, your birthday.
Is next Tuesday.
Yeah. So close. Pour one out.
I thought I was getting like a surprise party here.
Oh. I have to do something next Wednesday, though, now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, the 15th.
Yeah. Return the big 1-5.
2 net. 1-5, 15.
Quinceañera, baby.
Anyway, shout out Josh. It was his birthday last week, so I don't know if I shouted him before, but happy belated birthday, Josh, as well. 29.
Yeah. So,
Congrats on the hockey championship.
yeah. So I'll for sure at least be back in New York by Wednesday next week. So we will see everybody next week then. So
Go Gannon.
go again, baby. That's our. So you can find Fresh Takes here on FingerAlways1.com, the F1 YouTube channel, and the audio only version of the podcast. We're back to audio only on that front. I found the numbers are better on the audio only front. So take that, Spotify, for wanting video all of a sudden. But you can find the audio feed on every major podcasting platform. So enjoy the weekend, everybody. We'll talk again next week.